this is the first impromptu episode of. I can't call it the Bearded Podcast anymore because I don't have a beard. So we'll come up with a name later. This is really impromptu, and we are going to be chatting with Scott here. Scott, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you doing this. Super short notice.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, man. So if you could tell everybody a little bit about yourself, your background, what you do, if you, for those of you that don't know, too, a little background. Scott is the man behind all the editing that's done for my YouTube stuff. So much appreciated for that.
But yeah, so I'm Scott. I go by Cakeswitch in the Discord. You can always reach out if you have any editing questions or anything. I'm always willing to try to help any of you guys out, especially if you're active in the Discord. We have a pretty good community there. I also work in the chemical coatings industry, so if you have any paint questions, you can also throw them my way because that is what my 9 to 5 consists of, dealing with paint and paint related issues. But other than that, I spend most of my free time just in the Discord and House T, messing around with some video edits. If anybody in chat has any topics they want to talk about as well, feel free to throw them out. Not to railroad your stream or anything.
Oh no, for sure. That, like I said, this is very impromptu. So for the future, if there's any questions, usually when we get to a stopping point, I'll go ahead and reference back the questions. If you get a question for Scott, question for me, question for both, just drop it in the chat, and I promise we'll get to it. So yeah, we kind of started streaming at the same time, and then you took a break. You are trying to move to Michigan because there was some big news this weekend. You want to let everybody know what that was?
Yeah, so I actually I mentioned it in the Discord, but I got engaged this weekend to Savvy724 in the Discord and in the chat, which is Travis's sister, T's sister. So we'll be getting married later in 2020.
Heck
which is kind
yeah. That's awesome, dude. Congratulations on that, by the way. Which, in other news, I also went last night. We surprised my new sister-in-law, well, future sister-in-law, and she's getting married. They got engaged as well, so I got picked up 2 brothers this weekend, which is cool.
Yeah, pretty exciting.
Yeah, dude, that's really exciting. You guys have any sort of plans with that yet? When you're getting married or anything?
So it'll be 10/10/2020. She literally from getting on it.
10/10/2020. Okay.
Yeah, and she says yes. I get off the knee. She's a little emotional and everything, and then she's like, "How does 10/10/2020 sound?" And I'm like, "Really well thought out." Yeah, I have plans in 2020 right now.
That's my sister. She likes to plan stuff. She likes to have a big plan, as we like to say in the Hague household. She likes to plan ahead, which is awesome. That's awesome that it was that quick.
Yeah.
Man, super cool. So, when you get back to Michigan, it sounds like that could happen in the next few months. Do you plan on picking streaming back up? I know you're into like No Pixel and GTA roleplay quite a bit.
Yeah, I would like to. At the same time, it's also one of those I want to play it by ear and see like what's going on editing wise for me, because if we're going to be completely transparent with the stream, I like editing more than I like streaming. I would much rather be like behind the scenes, which would be really cool, like when you do live streams, if I could be like on site to help you guys manage stuff from behind, like switch through alternate camera angles and stuff, run your like little stream deck.
That'd be sick.
Stuff.
That'd be really awesome. Honestly, that's so cool. I'm kind of getting into that myself, like what Jamie does. If you guys know who Young Jamie is from like the Joe Rogan podcast, like that job's got to be pretty sweet. Like all he does is sit there while this guy's interviewing the most badass people on earth, and he's just like Googling shit for them and like switching scenes, running the mixer board. Like that's got to be one of the most badass jobs in the world, honestly.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, cause but yeah, that's really cool, man. What was I gonna say? Oh, we had other plans too. So if any of you guys know what like Good Mythical Morning is, that's where a lot of our ideas for like the live streams come from. Brent, DTXB in the Discord, and you guys will see him in the chat from time to time. He's big into Good Mythical Morning, and we kind of want to do like a show like that, like a YouTube show, which would be really cool as well.
Yeah. So
Go ahead.
And I'll probably, I mean, some streams occasionally. I don't know that I'm going to stick to like the schedule you have where you're streaming consistently every week.
Right.
It'll probably be like once or twice a week. I know Savannah wants to do some art stuff that I'll probably feature on my channel as well.
Oh, that would
So,
be cool. I actually saw something really interesting the other day. Um, I'd have to ask the guy what he was doing it for, but maybe I shouldn't mention his channel name. He had a wifey cam, and like his wife was like, so he was up in like the top right, she was down in the top left. He was playing Fortnite with viewers. She was like making something like a craft or something. Um, I mean, you couldn't. They weren't big cameras, but like you could see what she was doing. I don't know what she was doing because I wasn't really watching. I was just had it on like lurking while I was working on something else. So, but yeah, that's kind of a cool idea. Any
oh
art
yeah.
projects? Any art projects in mind?
Well, she does a weekly paint night, or well, it used to be weekly. I don't know how frequently it is anymore. That she always has to make a painting beforehand for, and then make another one when she's there doing it. So that would be something we could do. And I mean, she's always crafting something. And with the wedding coming up now, it's even more. She's got a whole list of things she's trying to craft and wants to get made for it. So
She's also making some crafts for mine and Mrs. T's wedding as well, guys. So she's quite the crafty person. She has a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree as well. A very accredited person. Accredited, is that the correct word? Somebody call me out, guys, when I'm making up words. Just be like, you don't know what the fuck you're saying.
I'm pretty sure that's the right word for it.
What else? You don't use Twitter very much, do you? I was gonna ask you a Twitter question.
Yeah, I'm trying to get more into it. I'm more of an Instagram guy. I'm cutting back Facebook significantly to try to make more room for Twitter because Facebook is doing nothing but just eating my
Dude,
time and I'm not getting anything from it.
I so I had something come up that made me close down my Facebook, but it has been like so freeing, I guess would be the best word, because I was getting in those rabbit holes of the video loops where it's just like, you probably want to watch this, you probably want to watch this, and then you're like watching this video of these puppies, and then like 2 hours later you're watching like underwater mines. Like, what, how the hell did I get here from puppies? Like, just time suckers.
Yeah, I'm completely with you. I took it off my phone probably 3 weeks ago and I don't miss it one bit. Like, nothing against Facebook.
I
If you guys
smell
want to sponsor
bacon.
House Tea,
Does
you
anyone
totally
else smell
should.
bacon?
But
Yeah, I definitely
for
smell
me
the pork
personally, it was a
products,
very
let me
good
tell you.
change. So.
1 second, Scott. Let me Tom's TV, thank you for the follow. And Delco, what's up, buddy? Delco, if you want to get in on after this, me and Scott are just gonna free flow for here for a little bit. But if you want to be the next guest, we'll just make it a two part series. So anyway, back to the conversation. Yeah, so Twitter, I mentioned this on at Seth's stream yesterday. Like, I started with nothing on Twitter, and which is crazy is like how wild social media is and how disconnected people are from their what they say. And if you guys weren't watching that yesterday, the thing that I was saying is you can send a text message and say the most despicable, awful stuff in about 5 seconds. So I think there's like a disconnect between your impact through your words and not having the social cues and like seeing the other person's face. You see like somebody gets, if you were like, hey Scott, you're a bitch, like if I was standing right in front of you, I'd be able to see your face like crunch up and you get like angry. If I text that to you, you have no idea in what context I meant. I could have just been like, ha, you're a bitch. Or like, be like, you bitch, like there's zero context. So like, how do you feel about like the way that our interactions with people and social media is going?
I feel like it's a great hiding place for people where they can say things to people that they would never say in real life. And
Yeah.
honestly, it's kind of shocking for me. I'm a very big, if I'm going to say anything about you, I'm going to say it directly to your face so we're on the same page. But it also goes to, I mean, you posted something in the Discord today about your true competition isn't other people, it's getting better from your previous self. And I think a lot of people have lost sight of that, where it's so much like someone is doing better than me, so I need to look at ways I can attack them, instead of looking at yourself and going, well, how can I improve and make a better brand for myself, make it more engaging for my fans?
Yeah, man, that's what's crazy. I think I just I can probably pull it up here and tell you guys what it said. So like I posted this photo just a little bit early. Your competition isn't other people. Your competition is your procrastination, your ego, the unhealthy food you're consuming, the knowledge you neglect, the negative behavior you're nurturing, and your lack of creativity. Compete against that. Yeah, so like people just like to go on social media and just be like, "Oh man, life sucks. I can't get anything done. I this and this and this," and just complain and just talk about all the bad things when like you're doing it right now. That's the negative behavior we're talking about. You're doing it right now. So that's people just like to I think people just like to complain is the other part.
It's like they lost sight of things. It's like you realize you're made from stardust. You're driving around in something that is exploding old dinosaur bones, and you're finding things to complain about. I guess. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny, dude. Yeah, man. That's well. We can flip to that. You're pretty. You seem to be pretty on top of like stuff like that. It's like, how do you feel about where the world's go? This is completely. We're touching all over the map, guys. Just so there's literally no outline for this stream. We're just going all over the place. So I'm sorry if you want to drop a question for us to answer, go ahead. But how do you feel that the world's going with as far as renewable
bacon.
energy and
Does anyone
renewable
else smell
resources?
bacon? Yeah, I
I mean,
definitely smell
we're
a pork
making
product of some
strides
type.
towards renewable energy. It's not something we'll be able to cut out fossil fuels altogether, like overnight. But at the same time, there's also, and I don't want to go too deep into politics, but there's a lot of lobbying things where it's like, oh, we're going to do everything we can to keep fossil fuels around because it's making a ton of money. So they're able to pump a ton of money into the economy and get laws passed and levies voted on for them. But I mean, when you look at what solar's doing and the fact that you're able to harvest sunlight and sell that energy back to the power company now, there's a lot of things that it's not as bad, I feel like, as the news wants to make it seem. Like we're just about to run off a cliff like a bunch of lemmings.
Yeah. So like the other thing, somebody would have to fact check me on this, but one of the small East Coast states, I heard that the U.S. power grid could run on solar panels the size of like a small East Coast state like Rhode Island or Mass or like a small one. It wasn't like New York. It was a small state. A small amount of land could be covered with solar panels, and we could run the whole U.S. power grid. So that's the other thing. You said you don't want to get too far into politics. I think that's the thing. Money makes everything go around. So yeah, I think there's just too much money to be had in oil and too much fighting, and the whole Middle East conflict is a whole nother thing. But yeah, man, the oil is running the world type thing on the money. So yeah, when they get away from, well, eventually, right, it's gonna run out. It's
Yeah, I mean,
it's a
it's the
finite
final,
resource. Yeah, so eventually it's gonna
yeah,
run out. So
twice on make as we're using it. So
yeah,
yeah.
I like the fact that like there is people like Jesus, just Space Ghost on his name, Tesla guy, Elon Musk,
Oh
guy
yeah,
like working towards things and wants the future generations are progressive. We have tech we've never had before. Sorry, I was reading the chat because he said that the future generations are progressive. Yeah, like that. I like that they're working on things like that. Like I saw this was a video I saw way back, probably a year ago. It was like a water turbine. So you put it in in a river, and it produced like this crazy amount of energy because it's constantly running. The river's not stopping. It wasn't slowing down the river or anything, which is just, it
Exactly.
seems, and it's like anything, right? You go to produce something, it's going to cost a lot at the beginning until you get all your your stuff figured out. You get the production, you get the employees, you get all that stuff figured out, and then it's easy, right?
Yeah, because I mean, like it's the same way Walmart is able to offer things so much cheaper than their competition because they're mass producing it on a scale that nobody else can compete with.
Right. I worked for, fun fact about tea that you guys probably don't know. I worked for UPS for about 2 weeks. In the training, they stated that Walmart is like the number 2. It was like in the top 3 employers in the US. How insane is that?
Makes
Walmart.
sense. I
It,
mean, they're everywhere. They're massive.
yeah, it was like US government, Walmart, UPS, I think. Was the third, or vice versa, like UPS. I want to say it was 2 because why would they state UPS would be 2 and then why would they even state number 3? But yeah, water turbines kill ecosystems. Now yeah, I don't know. It was safe. It wasn't like it wasn't huge, dude. It wasn't like sucking the whole river in. It was pretty small, but it was and it was protected. Like there was no way for anything from the river to get, other than the water, to get into this turbine. It kind of like jutted out from the river. It wasn't like, let's stick this turbine in the middle of the river. Good luck. It wasn't like that at all. It wasn't so.
And I mean, it's not just like river turbines. There's so much kinetic energy around us, like in our everyday lives, where it's like whether you're putting, because I mean, I've seen designs for, they almost look like buoys that are connected to a pole and will rise up and down with the tide to create smaller amounts of energy, or like ride waves where they use their buoyancy to push a turbine up and down to create electricity.
Yeah, yeah. And so like he said future generations are progressive. I may have never said this on stream, but I've been on record in my friend circle of saying this is, once the older generations die, we'll have a much more open-minded world. Like how crazy is it? So they were talking about this on JRE the other day. How crazy is it that there was slaves like less than 2 people, like about 2 people ago, 3 people ago. 3 people.
Yeah.
Just not generations, but people. Like people could live to 100 years old. Like there could possibly be 3 people ago there was slavery in this country. Like the rate that the world is moving is, sometimes you just gotta kind of like step back and be like, yeah, maybe a few more years, you know. There's, because the obviously that's just the way of the world most of the time. Is like as you get older, you become more established, you have more knowledge, more powerful. So those older people get to the top, and you know, just kind of gotta wait it out.
On to the values they had when they were younger. So hopefully our generation can have a little more presence of mind to be like, oh yeah, let's not turn into the generation before us as younger people are trying to change the world and we're the older ones in power.
Yep. And it was so like I had a conversation that was really cool. I was up at my grandpa's place. We were on vacation, and my aunt, who's about 60, was there, and then me, and then my cousin, who was like about 8 years younger than me, having this conversation all on like common values and stuff. It was pretty crazy to see that, like, you know, any walk of life can have a different opinion about something. It just, you know, it kind of depends on like your life experience and kind of the way I feel like it's kind of the way you're taught and brought up as well, you know? Like generally racist people are raised by racist people. It's just generally how it goes.
Yeah, there's I can't think of the comedian, but he had a joke of like, you know what my 2-year-old hates? Naps. End of the list, because he's making the point that racism is taught. It's not, you just don't wake up and you're like, I hate these certain things. You have to learn that from someone.
Right. Yeah, you definitely have to learn it from somewhere, man. Like, yeah, except unless you're my daughter, because I don't know where the hell she learned to throw shit and bite. But that's besides the point. That's besides the point. But yeah, man, like, and you don't realize, so like if you don't have children, anybody that doesn't have children, you don't realize how quick, or unless you're like a teacher, unless you're around kids all the time, is what I'm trying to say. You don't realize how quick a child will pick up a behavior. Like quick, days, less than days, 1 day could pick up your behavior and just run with that. So even if it's like a little subconscious thing you're doing where you're being racist or mean or angry all the time, like you kids pick up on that really quickly. So that's another thing. If it's just ingrained in you to be a racist or a shitty person, like they're just going to pick it up.
Yeah.
Even
But
if
the
they're
good
not
thing is
using
it
it.
also works with positive values as well. Because I mean, it's easier for me to see because I living in Ohio, I'm up here for like a weekend or a week at a time. So it's not a daily thing, but just watching like Dexter progress, it seems like every time I see him, I see more of like you and Allison in him in like the way he acts and behaves.
Yeah. That's the other thing too. Is like you try to just correct the good behavior and either not suppress, because you know they got to figure things. It's like anything. It's like me and Seth were talking about yesterday. All these people like bashing people on Twitter and stuff for the way they're doing their streams is like, you got to let those people fail a little bit too, you know? You can't just be like, you're doing this wrong. Just let them figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
they got to screw up too, you know? That's the other thing is like, yeah. So like, this is crazy. I had my first, like, I don't know if I told you this. I don't know if I told anybody really other than my family. I had my first like dad crossroads where I didn't know what to do. And that's pretty wild because my kids are young. But I got a call from the school. It's the third time this kid has hit Dexter. The third time. So I was hated, obviously. So like my dad fought his whole life growing up. I lived in Livonia. It was like the 4th safest city in the world or in the country. So I didn't have to fight growing up. I was in like 3 fights my whole life. So grateful for that. I came home so mad and told Luke Dexter in the face and was like, next time that kid hits you, I want you to punch him right in the face. And he started crying. He's sensitive. I was like, oh God. Oh, why did I say that? But I was so angry because like, raise your kid, you know? Like, why is your kid hitting? Be respectful.
Yeah.
That's
You can correct that behavior. Hold your children accountable.
Yeah, like if Dexter or Arya hit, they're in trouble. Like you go to sit in your room and you stay away from us until you figure it out. But like, cause oh man, like I said, Arya's a whole different story. But like yesterday, she wouldn't share her Legos or whatever and clonked Dexter over the head with her full cup. Just blop, clobbered him. So that's the whole nother thing, you know. There to a point, I get it too, but like you said, yeah, that's on you. If your kid's, it's not just Dexter. He's not picking on Dexter either. This kid's hitting everybody, and so that's the other thing is like you just gotta step back and be a parent. Any questions let me read this chat real quick, Scott. See if we got any questions.
Yeah. Right.
Future generations progressive. Until we make solar panels out of something that isn't going to kill the environment, what's the point? Right now they make solar panels out of things that cause more harm than fossil fuels. Water turbines kill ecosystem. Man, Dunk's just shooting down every argument we got.
I smell bacon. Does anyone else smell bacon?
Walmart being
Yeah,
up there. The
I
solution for
definitely
environmental
smell a pork
salvation is just to
product
kill the
this
lifestyles we
time.
become and go back to caves. Oh my God. All right, Dunk. Jesus. Let's become cave people. I have a lot of confidence in future generations. Me too, man. Hi, Mama. How are you? Don't go put your kid in karate. Dude, I would love to put my kid in some kind of self-defense class. That'd be cool. But I took karate as a kid and I hated it. So, I don't know. It's hard for me to force them into something that I wouldn't do. Loveless Zombie, thank you for the follow. Hello. I wouldn't mind being cave people for a day or two. Right. For a day or two. And then until, like, you're like, hey, I'm going to run to the store. Dear, you need anything? And then you come back and there's another cave dude in the cave with your wife. And when you come back, he just clubs you over the head. And that's it for Delco. He just got clubbed in the head over his wife, you know? So it's not good.
Marcy Cave.
Man, but the other cool thing is like there's people are so um what's the word? Intuitive, and they have a lot of ingenuity for like things to save to be better. Like have you seen that like the ocean vacuum? Like
Yeah.
where it's just like this big floating thing and it just collects garbage floating in the ocean. Pretty crazy. I don't like you, bonk. It just, yeah, it just sucks up like plastic and garbage floating in the ocean. Like that's crazy. And so like even if you say, oh, it's gonna catch fish in there and kill them, not even close to the same planet as how much you like your sushi. Like they're overfishing everything. So I don't know. It's like there's all kinds of big problems in the world, you know, and I don't think we're gonna figure it out very quickly.
Yeah, I also feel, because I mean, I'm sure what a lot of Dunk has said is true. I haven't done any real research on it, so don't want to try to poke holes in it or anything. But at the same time, like, I don't know that we want to move back into the cave, because you never know if somebody's going to come up with like the truly clean energy in the future that we gave up on because we said goodbye technology and move back into caves. And Travis is hiding out in caves to bonk people's head.
My club's bigger than your club. Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tough, dude. Plus, overpopulation's a thing. Like, there's so many. It's way deeper than any one thing. But I think what we're trying to get to is what the fuck? Okay. Sorry, I got distracted by a link in the chat. Maybe I'll have to block links in the future. But I think what we're trying to get at is just being better each day, man. Like, so I was going to tweet this because I went outside to take my garbage out, and my recycle bin is twice as full as my garbage can. And that made me feel good. Like, it's just recycling, like anything like that. It's just be better is the real message here. It's like, if you think that the solar panels are destroying the environment, I don't know, man. It like you got to use it for the technology to get better too is the other thing. So there's a lot to it. Definitely a lot to it. I think just getting better each day is important. 90% of plastic in oceans are coming from China and Africa. I mean, so be it, dude, but that doesn't mean it's not our responsibility to figure that out though. Right? I mean, wouldn't you agree, Scott? Like it's
If we can't stop them at this point in time from putting plastic into the ocean, that doesn't mean that we can't take it out of the ocean.
Yeah, respect your surroundings. Yes. So like yesterday at the park, there was like garbage on somebody, clearly it wasn't winter garbage. You know winter garbage. Some of you don't. You probably live in the South, or you could live in Hawaii. I don't know where you're watching this from. But up here in the northern states, there's winter garbage. So like stuff it's still litter, but like it gets snowed over, it blows around, it gets snowed over, then it's in there till spring. And so it didn't look like spring garbage. It looked like somebody had ate these two things and threw them on the ground in the park that we go to. It's like 10 houses down from us. And I told Dexter, hey, we should pick this up. And he's like, that's a good idea. And we picked it up. Like, just be a little bit better. If those people wouldn't have thrown that shit on the ground, we probably would have picked up some other garbage that we found and threw it away, because that's just what we do. So just be a little better.
Yeah. Be the change you want to see.
Okay, well, Scott, man, this was really fun. Maybe we'll throw it to the chat, see if there's any questions, and we'll definitely do it again. Like I said, for everybody that wasn't here at the beginning, I would like to do this on Friday, so if any of you would like to be a guest in the future, we'll talk about that in a second. Any questions from the chat before I send Scott on his way and we wrap this thing up? Oh yeah, man, thanks for doing this. It was really short notice and really out of the blue. All the kids laid down today, so had a little extra time. And I know
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
free because the ladies
Yeah.
be dress shopping today. Mrs. T
Yeah.
is wedding dress shopping, and Mrs. Cakeswitch is with Mrs. T. So we were both free.
Right on. Yeah. Thanks for having me. Also, shout out to House T exclamation Discord in the chat if you guys want to join the Discord. And shout out to everybody that was contributing to our conversation. It's always good to have a dialogue with people instead of just us spewing our views out. It's always good to see both sides of every story.
Well, nobody dropped a question, man. So is there anything you plugged the Discord? Appreciate that. Scott is an admin there, guys, as well. So if you have any questions, you can reach us both there. But it's gonna keep going, Mama. No worries. You have anything to plug or promote before you leave, other than the House T Discord?
Other than House T Discord, shout out to Dunk for throwing some facts at us today.
Yep.
Check out that stream. He's a pretty cool dude.
Yep.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, I've got nothing. I'm not gonna plug my own channel. I'm not even posting content on there at this point in time. Seems like kind of a waste for everyone.
Okay, man. Well, like I said, thank you so much for being here. It was super short notice, and I think we did a really nice job. So I will we'll clip this and get this on YouTube for everybody that was here and didn't get to see the full conversation. We jumped all over the place. I don't even remember what we started talking. We started talking about paint and what Scott did for work. We went all the way to school bullies and hitting, and then all the way back to garbage in the ocean. So it was all over the place, but it was really fun. So Scott, thank you, man, and I will talk to you soon.
Thanks, man. I'll see you.